Were giants real? Decoding ancient accounts. Imagine a world where towering figures, impossibly large, walked among us, beings of immense strength, perhaps even ancient wisdom, shaping the very landscape with their colossal footsteps. Was this merely the fantastical product of ancient imaginations? A way to explain the unexplainable? Or do the echoes of these colossal legends hint at a shocking truth hidden within our history? Tonight, on Enigma Unlocked, we delve into the myths, the bones, and the suppressed accounts to ask the ultimate question: were giants real? Decoding ancient accounts. Prepare to see the world from a towering new perspective. Our journey into the realm of giants begins not in fantasy novels, but in the most sacred and ancient texts known to humanity. From the Bible's Nephilim to the mighty titans of Greek mythology, almost every major culture, across every continent, has a deeply ingrained story of giant beings walking the earth. This isn't just a coincidence. It's a pattern that demands closer examination. Consider the book of Genesis, specifically chapter 6, verse 4, which speaks of Nephilim existing in ancient times, described as the mighty men who were of old, the men of renown. These aren't just tall people. The term itself implies fallen ones or giants. But who exactly were they? And what was their true origin, moving across the globe? We find the Cyclops and Titans in Greek mythology. Colossal beings whose power was so immense they could challenge the very gods of Olympus. Were these just allegories for natural forces, or twisted memories of massive humanoid ancestors? In Norse mythology, the Jetna, often translated as giants, were primordial beings, fundamental to the creation and destruction of the cosmos. From the frost giants to the mountain giants, their presence is woven into the very fabric of their world. The Native American tribes, from the Paiute to the Iroquois, tell tales of giant, red-haired beings, sometimes benevolent, sometimes terrifying, who roamed their lands long before their arrival. Even in Asia, we find legends of towering figures like the Daitya in Hindu texts. The consistency across such disparate cultures, with no apparent contact, is truly remarkable. Could all these unique societies have independently conjured up the exact same fantasy? Or were they all witnessing or inheriting accounts of something undeniably real, something immense? For the modern scientific community, the concept of literal giants is often met with skepticism, if not outright dismissal. Biology dictates limitations on size and bone structure. Square cube law often cited as a fundamental barrier. Yet, historical accounts and archaeological finds continue to challenge this conventional narrative, leaving us with lingering questions. Consider the Cardiff Giant, a sensation in 1869. This 10-foot-tall petrified man was presented as proof of biblical giants. While later exposed as a hoax, it highlights humanity's eagerness to believe and the power of such discoveries. But what about the finds that weren't hoaxes? What about the bones, the tools, the structures that seemed too large for ordinary humans? Throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries, numerous newspaper accounts, particularly in the United States, reported the discovery of unusually large human skeletons, often buried in ancient mounds. These skeletons reportedly ranged from 7 to 12 feet tall. While many of these claims lack verifiable scientific documentation, the sheer volume of reports from diverse, unconnected sources is intriguing. Were these merely misidentifications, or were real discoveries swept under the rug? The Smithsonian Institution, a respected beacon of scientific knowledge, has itself been implicated in conspiracy theories regarding giants. Some claim the Smithsonian systematically collected and then lost, or deliberately suppressed evidence of giant human remains to maintain a conventional historical narrative that excludes such beings. While the Smithsonian vehemently denies these claims, the persistence of such theories speaks to a public hunger for answers about these unusual discoveries. Even today, amateur archaeologists and researchers continue to unearth artifacts, enormous axes, impossibly large stone chairs, and megalithic structures that defy easy explanation by conventional means. Were these simply made for ceremony, or were they tools and furniture for beings of a much grander stature? If genuine evidence of giants exists, why is it not front and center in our museums and history books? What truth about our past is being deliberately omitted or conveniently forgotten? Let's delve into some of the more compelling archaeological and anecdotal evidence that challenges the mainstream view. These are the fragments that fuel the fire of the giant debate, the whispers from the past that refuse to be silenced. One intriguing case is the Los Lunas Decalogue stone in New Mexico, inscribed with ancient Hebrew script, yet appearing in North America. While controversial, some researchers link such anomalies to pre-Columbian visitors, perhaps even those associated with the Nephilim or other ancient giant lineages. Could advanced, or simply massive, beings have traversed the globe far earlier than we believe? Then there's the mystery of megalithic structures found worldwide. Stonehenge, the pyramids of Egypt and Giza, Puma Punku, Baalbek. The sheer size of the stones, often weighing hundreds of tons, and the precision with which they were cut and placed, continues to baffle engineers even with modern technology. Conventional explanations involve thousands of human laborers. But could these structures have been built by beings with a scale and strength far beyond our own? Consider the anecdotal evidence from explorers and settlers. Early European explorers in the Americas, for example, often reported encounters or evidence of unusually large native populations. While large is subjective, the consistency of these reports across different expeditions raises eyebrows. Could they have been encountering the last remnants of these ancient giant bloodlines? And what about the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland? A natural rock formation that looks eerily like perfectly laid basalt columns. While scientifically explained by volcanic activity, local legends insist it was built by a giant named Finn McCool. Such legends, though fantastical, often contain distorted echoes of truth or real-world observations. These pieces of evidence, though fragmented and open to interpretation, collectively paint a picture that deviates from our standard historical textbooks. They suggest that perhaps our understanding of ancient human or humanoid history is far from complete. Could we be missing entire chapters, entire species, that once roamed this planet alongside early humans? The cultural phenomenon of giants extends far beyond mere physical size. Many ancient narratives imbue these colossal beings with immense power, often destructive, but sometimes divine or demigod-like. They represent a primal force, a connection to the very origins of the world, and a confrontation with the unknown. In many creation myths, giants are the first beings, born from chaos, their bodies forming the mountains and rivers of the earth. This portrays them not just as big, but as fundamental to the cosmos itself. Their battles with younger gods often symbolize the triumph of order over chaos, or the rise of new eras. But why do these myths persist? Why do we, as humans, continue to be fascinated by the idea of giants? Is it our inherent desire to feel small, to grasp the immense scale of existence? Or is it a deep-seated, collective memory passed down through generations of a time when the world was literally bigger, filled with beings who dwarfed us? The fear and awe inspired by giants often reflect humanity's own struggle with overwhelming forces. Nature's power, uncontrollable desires, or even the vastness of the universe. They are a tangible representation of the other, of something profoundly different and often superior in raw power. The psychological impact of such beings on early human societies would have been immense. Imagine encountering a creature twice or 3 times your height, with strength to match. It would undoubtedly shape their worldview, their art, their religion, and their oral traditions. These stories would then be passed down, perhaps losing some literal accuracy over millennia, but retaining their core essence, that something enormous once walked here. The enduring legacy of giants, even in modern media, from fantasy epics to sci-fi thrillers, proves their grip on our collective unconscious. They tap into a primal awe and fear, suggesting that there are indeed more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy. So, what are we to conclude from the widespread myths, the controversial archaeological finds, and the undeniable cultural impact of giants? Is it possible that the truth is far more complex than simple dismissal or blind belief? Perhaps giants weren't a single species, but a variety of phenomena that contributed to the legend. Perhaps unusually tall humans existed, along with distorted memories of megafauna like mammoths, or even highly exaggerated tales of powerful, large individuals. The human mind is adept at spinning a compelling narrative from fragments of reality. However, the sheer consistency of these accounts, particularly the recurring descriptions of red-haired giants found in various Native American legends, does give pause. If these were merely tall people, why the specific hair color? This level of detail suggests a particular memory, not just a general exaggeration. Could there be an evolutionary branch of hominids, a forgotten lineage, that reached significantly greater sizes than modern humans? Our understanding of ancient hominid species is constantly evolving, with new discoveries challenging previous assumptions. What if there's a chapter of our own past that remains unwritten or deliberately erased? The refusal of many mainstream institutions to seriously investigate these claims only fuels the fire of speculation. If there's nothing to hide, then why not a thorough, transparent scientific examination of every reported anomaly? The public deserves answers, not just dismissals. Ultimately, Whether literal giants once roamed the earth remains one of history's most profound enigmas. But the very existence of these persistent legends, passed down through time and across cultures, reminds us that the world and our past may be far stranger, far more awe-inspiring, and far more terrifying than we've ever been taught. Thank you for joining us on this towering exploration into the myths and possible realities of giants. Your willingness to question the established narrative is what truly unlocks new perspectives. If you found this journey into the colossal fascinating, please give this video a like. It helps us reach more curious minds. And don't forget to subscribe to Enigma Unlocked for more deep dives into the unexplained, the mysterious, and the history they don't want you to know. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you're always clued into our latest revelations. Until our next adventure into the unknown, keep questioning, keep exploring, and stay curious.